Do you feel the vibes?
What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin. In this video, I'm going to talk about, it's actually been a while since I've done a video, a video where you saw me on cam. In this video, I want to talk about 2016 most surprising teams, no particular number, no particular order. I do, of course, have a set amount of teams on the pick. And I'm going to give mostly rankings in terms of points per game, points allowed, yards and all that. I'm going to give that and why I think these teams are the most surprising. I'm gonna give my honorable mentions at the end, so I won't kind of spoil what's not on the list. But let's start with the first team. The first team is the Oakland Raiders, and this was a team I picked last year along with like the Vikings. While the Vikings started out strong, huge disappointment. Currently losing like 4 of the last 5. They've been very disappointing. The Oakland Raiders, specifically offensively, have been amazing. Derek Carr, great. Mari Cooper, running game been working. Everything offensively been working. Defensively, that's an issue, but you'll kind of get that once I talk about the rankings, and of course if you watch them play. Of course I have it on my phone, so if you see me looking at it, sorry. They're 8-2. They're leading that really competitive AFC West, with Denver 7-3, Kansas City at 7-3, and of course they're sitting at 8-2. They're 5th in points per game at 27.2. They're 5th in total yards per game at 393.5 yards. 4th in passing yards at 275.5 yards. 9th in rushing yards, so you see these guys get it done. Top 10 in both passing yards and rushing yards. 9th in rushing yards at 118 yards, and no point. Defensively, I just want to get you see why. Kind of wary of them going into the playoffs as the competition gets better. Because if you saw a lot of the earlier games, a lot of these games they were down. They were down big, or they were down. Period. And specifically when the offense wasn't scoring, the defense really had trouble stopping teams. 20th in points allowed at 24.3. Now, obviously, if you're scoring that much, that's not that huge of a deal, but you can't just rely on your offense all the time. So defense really going to have to step up come playoff time. 29th in yards allowed, that's total yards. 393.6, which the bottom 3 of the league, so that's my bottom 4. So that's definitely a huge problem. 28th in passing yards at 277.9. 24th in rushing yards allowed. This is defensively. Passing yards, rushing yards allowed. 24th in rushing yards allowed at 115.7. And this is the big one. This is the one that could probably lose them games come playoff time, when you have you got that chance of facing someone like a Tom Brady or any quarterback. You don't want to give any quarterback time. These are NFL quarterbacks. You give them time, they will pick you apart. Dead last in sacks at 15. Khalil Mack has 8 of these sacks. He's the only guy who's really been able to get pressure on that defense. Excuse me. They're going to need more guys to step up. They do have a plus 10 turnover differential. That alone, you'll win a bunch of games. The way you look at it is either we're getting a bunch of turnovers, or we're getting a bunch of turnovers and we're not turning the ball over that much. That's usually how you look at it when it's a plus. When it's a plus 10, I believe that's third. I can't remember. I know Kansas City is number 1 in terms of point differential. Kansas City gets a lot of turnovers. They don't turn the ball over much. The next team, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, you want to like, why do I have the Falcons? Well, coming into the season, a lot of people looking at everyone else. They were looking at the Panthers. And of course, they just made the Super Bowl. They went 16-1 in the regular, 15-1. I'm sorry, in the regular season. A lot of people expected them to go and win that division again. Essentially, got the same team. And I'll tell you first and foremost, they're not the same team. A lot of guys missing, injuries this season, so it's not exactly the same team. Um, phone's going crazy. Um, but for the Falcons, I think young defense. You see when I talk about it, you see some of the statistics in this, and you see why. Um, you can see a lot of struggle. And you watch some of the games, they've let teams back in the games. They've allowed a lot of points, a lot of yards. So they still got a young defense. But I've seen these guys make plays. And you're going to have those growing pains with young guys. Got a bunch of rookies, 2-year players and shit like that. But Matt Ryan's been great this year. Julio Jones, offensive line. The running backs have been good, surprisingly. So I think offensively was where you wanted to see them get better because you know they had the talent. They're number one in points per game at 32. Third in total yards, which you're kind of expecting. Number one in points, you move the ball up and down the field. Third in total yards at 416.6. Third in passing yards at 309. 14th in rushing yards at 107.6. 20. See this defense. Offensively, you see that they're going to move the ball. They're going to score a lot of points. But here's when it really you see what I was talking about, all the youth on defense, with all the growing pains. 29th in points allowed at 28.3. 28th in yards allowed at 385.9 yards. 32nd in passing yards allowed. Well, you could say, it's because how much they score, but 32nd is bad. Especially when you're still giving up a lot of points. You're 29th, close to the bottom 4. You're still giving up 28 points. Obviously, you're still outscoring teams, but you can't just rely on outscoring teams. You got to be able to get stops. 17th in rushing yards allowed at 102.9. That's okay, but teams said, "Why would I run the ball? Why would I run the ball against you when I could just pass when you're dead last in yards?" Yards allowed through the air. And they're 15th in sacks at 22, so not too bad. They're pretty much middle of the road. A +3 turnover differential. Now, this team, the Falcons, and the next teams I'm doing will have the same +3 turnover differential. Next team is the team that played Thursday, the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions. There's one thing I'm gonna get into after I give all these numbers of kind of a reason why this team has been clutch. Excuse me. This team has been really clutch. You saw it in the last game. Clutch plays on defense. Able to drive the ball down the field. When you thought they were gonna go in overtime, Matt Prater's been huge for them. Hasn't missed a field goal when the game's on the line, either to tie or to win it. Excuse me. Come on, stick phone. 18th in points. But see, a lot of these stats, you're like, why the hell is he having his team out there? When I get into the last one, you'll know why. 18th in points per game at 22.5. 26 in total yards. Not too good. 329.5. 18th in passing yards at 24.8. 248.7 yards. 30th in rushing yards. The running game has not been really good. Although they got some talent with Reddick, they have some talent at running back. The 30th in rushing yards at 80.8. 17th in points allowed at 21.6, which is around middle of the road. 14th in yards allowed and pretty much middle of the road at 353.3. 14th in passing yards allowed 250.9. 15th in passing yards allowed 102.5. And 19th in I believe that's tied with never mind. 19th in sacks with 20. Well, 19th in sacks with 20. And of course the 3-0 turnover differential. And here's an interesting stat. The Lions are the first team in their first 10 games to have 6 fourth quarter comebacks. I believe from what I read, they didn't lead. They haven't led in any of the fourth quarters in the game coming into the fourth quarter. So this team's been really clutch, and Stafford's been it's been under the radar. This guy's been clutch. They made plays defensively, as I mentioned. The plays that they made, and you got a kicker that hasn't missed. When they need him to make them, which of course you need to make all of them. What I mean, when the game's on the line, he's made them. And the big reason why this team is 7-4 coming into the season, a lot of people, the Vikings won that division, the NFC North last year, and the Packers a little bit healthier. Jordy Nelson, Eddie Lacy's in good shape. That things haven't gone well for them. Things haven't gone well for the Vikings. So it's up in the air. The Bears still in rebuild mode. You don't know what's going on there. So it was the Lions. It's the Lions. It's up in the air for the Lions. The Lions have grabbed. They beat Minnesota twice. I believe they still have to play the Packers again. They still have to play the Bears again. But definitely poised to win that division. But coming to the season, no one expected that. Calvin Johnson's retiring. You kind of expected the team to regress, but they haven't played amazing. But they've been clutch. They've been winning games. They're making plays defensively. Matthew Stafford's been very underrated. He's done a lot for them offensively. Running game really hasn't been there. It's mainly been Stafford and just making big plays at the end of the games. Hopefully they can be more consistent throughout the game, because you get into the playoffs, you can't rely on stuff like that. But it's good to know that your team can come up big when you need them the most. Last but not least, the Dallas Cowboys at 10-1, number one record in the NFL, and leading the NFC East. Quickly get into it. Third in points per game at 28.7. Fourth in total yards at 407.6. 15th in passing yards at 250.4. Second in rushing yards at 157.3. Second only to Buffalo, who's like 0.5 above them. Ninth in points allowed at 19.4. This is going to get into the defense. Now, I've always mentioned in my picks videos, ninth in points allowed. I said they were top 10. I said they were top 10, and that when you're scoring that many points, like I said, they're third, and you're ninth in points allowed, you're gonna win a bunch of games. It's almost a 10 plus 10 point differential. You're gonna win a lot of games. They've been taking care of the ball. Dak Prescott has not thrown a bunch of picks. Ezekiel Elliott, the dude's been amazing. 11 touchdowns. Definitely going to be Rookie of the Year. Possible chance of getting MVP. Definitely MVP candidate. So offensive line's been good. Defensively, like I said, they've been giving up the yards, as I'm about to go into right now. Like I said, ninth in points allowed, 19.4. 22nd in yards allowed, just total yards, at 362.2. 30th in passing yards allowed. I think that's attributed to because they've been scoring a lot on teams. They've been able to move the ball up and down the field, not necessarily through the air, but I think it's balanced. They're probably the most balanced offense in football. Dak Prescott, he can make the throws down the field. He has the weapons on the outside. Dez Bryant, Cole Beasley, Terrence Williams made an amazing catch in Thursday's game. Got Jason Witten, who's a guy who somehow seems to always get open. Ezekiel Elliott is a threat in the passing game. Offensive line done a great job at pass protection. Best offensive line in football. Great job of pass protecting, run blocking, open up holes. Ezekiel Elliott, great vision. Guy's a fucking beast. So they're balanced, and they get these long drives on teams, and they're able to wear out teams' defenses, and get teams in the holes really quickly. The teams are forced to pass the ball against them. And it's still no excuse for having a 30th ranked passing defense, but you kind of get the reason why. But like I said, you always look back at teams not getting into the end zone as much. 19.4 points. I think that's really good. They're third in rushing yards allowed. And maybe that's attributed to teams kind of playing from behind. But you've seen some close games. And I looked at the attempts against them. I think teams have run the ball enough to say, yeah, that run defense is underrated. Um, third in rushing yards allowed at 81.8. They're actually right behind the Panthers and the Ravens. Ravens, I believe, are number 1. The Panthers are number 2. And they're tied with the Detroit Lions with 19th with 20 sacks. And like I said, +3 turnover differential. Now, my honorable mentions, as I talked about earlier in the video, are New York Giants, which coming into the season, I think no one was sitting. Let's just say, before I even talk about that, the Cowboys are the most surprising team in football. No one expected them to be 10-1 with a rookie running back, rookie quarterback. The big question mark was the quarterback, especially after Romo got hurt. Everybody, even Cowboys fans thought the season was done. But this guy's came in, played well, got to turn the ball over a lot, making the throws down the field, threat as a runner, complete package. You can see the overall balance in the offense. Excuse me. So they're definitely the most surprising team to me. The Giants coming into the season, of course, the Redskins, you probably couldn't put them up there because they're the team that won the division last year. And the Giants, with all of the talent they have offensively, I think the Cowboys, I would definitely, if I'm picking a team out of that division, I would definitely just pick the Cowboys. Because to me, they were the team that they were really bad last year. And you essentially was missing Romo. And, after the whole, what happened to him in preseason, everybody's expectations dropped. The expectations were really high with you bringing Ezekiel Elliott in. With you having Romo healthy, they were really high. Now, that's gone. I mean, that was at the time, the expectations had lowered a lot. So that's why they're up there. One of my honorable mentions, of course, was the Giants. Other honorable mention, I will say the Miami Dolphins. They played a lot of close games early on, but they do have a 6-4 record. Now they've beaten pretty bad teams, but the fact is they're 6-4 and definitely going to be competing for that wild card berth coming to near the end of the season. They're not going to win that division. I believe they play the Patriots again. They're not going to be able to beat the Patriots. Patriots are going to dominate the division. It's usually what happens. But they definitely have a chance at the wild card and kind of going under the radar. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. If I left out any teams, if you will put one of the honorable mentions up to where I put the teams. The reason I put those teams up there, one, either exceeding expectations, or big time like the Falcons, but especially the Cowboys, or winning a very competitive division when no one really thought they would be winning that division. Oakland. Oakland and Detroit. A lot of people just no one coming into the season put Detroit in there. They didn't put the Bears there neither. Most people would either go with the Vikings who won it, or the Packers who usually win it. Have all that talent offensively and have some guys defensively. But let me know something down in the comment section. Hit that thumbs up button if you like this video and subscribe. Thanks for watching.